Hey everyone, Jarrell here with what will be the first of a few videos on Fantasy Life Online, which is the follow-up to the 3DS game Fantasy Life, which was released worldwide. The follow-up Fantasy Life Online is a Japan-only iOS and Android game, so I thought it might be a good idea to make a couple videos on it so you can see what you're missing out on, or rather what you're not missing out on. So let's dive in and take a look. It's got all the sort of trappings you'd expect out of a gacha game. You're rolling for gear, you're rolling for characters, you got your daily logins, you need to be logged in. But I suppose the flip side of that is it can constantly feed you new updates. Like they're constantly updating the story mode, there's always multiplayer events, and we'll sort of get to all that in the future videos. This first video is going to be about a broad overview of the game and how it's different and how it's not different from the 3DS version. So straight away, if we open this life change menu here, you can see all 12 jobs from the game are still intact. So you can attack with the 4 different jobs, you can gather with the 3 different jobs, and you can play all the different mini games for the cooking and the crafting and all of those different like production jobs, or whatever you want to call them. So that's all in here, and there's actually a mode in the game. So different to the 3DS version, this is instant. So if you go to, say, a quest menu, so these are the solo quests. You have your main story, your field, your job quests, and then like your god quests and your dailies. But if I go into this field quest here, we'll just quickly dive in here to sort of give you a little bit of a look. The field quest acts very much like traditional Fantasy Life in that you can go into, I can drop into any one of these areas and we can sort of walk between them. So if we go to the default, or like the starting area here, it costs 30 stamina, which is a lot more than, say, some of the other missions, which usually cost around like 10 or 12. At least for single player stuff. But the trade-off is it basically works like it would in the 3DS game. You can go between the areas freely, you can change your jobs, there's a day-night cycle. So this job I've almost maxed out, but if I go and hit this button here and change jobs, we can maybe try, like, I don't know, we'll go to the paladin, or not the paladin, the mercenary, whatever it's called in English, and I can hit this button over here. Oh no, that's to go back, but if I hit this button up here, you can sort of go through and do all the quests that you still need to do. So the ability to change jobs mid-mission is sort of exclusive to this mode. It has auto-attacking as you'd expect from a gacha, but you can turn that off. You can charge up abilities by holding down the button. You can charge and flick for different abilities, though I don't know if this job has it yet. And yeah, so this is sort of a look at that. I'll just quickly show you that, so in other modes you wouldn't be able to go into other areas quite so freely, but I'll just show you that if we go into the barrier here, you'll be able to see the next area. And if you've played the 3DS game, you've probably already picked up on the fact that this map is basically one-to-one. They've ported it over perfectly. And yeah, you can see, look, we're in a much higher level area. So we'll pop out of that. Like I said, we'll touch more on the gameplay stuff in future videos. But yeah, so you can sort of end a mission here, and then you get your rewards or whatever. But that's sort of the basic difference between this mode and the other ones. And the thing that really stuck out to me when I first played it, because that really did feel like, the original Fantasy Life, just being able to walk around and knock stuff off. And you can talk to NPCs and do all that stuff as well. That was just to give you a very, very quick look at it. So let's take a look at our overview here. Running down the bottom left to right, we have like the Hitori there, so the solo quests. The second one is Minnade, which is with everyone. So these are multiplayer quests where you've got maybe like the top one is to do with killing big bosses. The second one is to do with field bosses. So you might have seen before there was a ram on certain areas when we were looking at that map. This field quest is sort of to do with killing those golden rams. We'll just quickly have a look at this to sort of give you a look at it. But we'll touch on these more in future videos. Yeah, so you can see here, there are golden rams you can kill, which will give you drops for specific, like an event item, because they just launched the desert area, I think. And then the Maruchi Bento, which is the multiplayer event, which is the one that sort of rotates every couple weeks. There was a Yokai Watch one not too long ago. But yeah, if you look at the map, you can sort of drag your finger around to do it like this to get around, or you can do it like you did out in the field, though you stop doing that pretty quickly, to be honest. So these are all buildings that I've like had to build. Oh, so let's finish the menus first. You got items, which are to do with buffing up your characters and buffing up their like items and stuff. Life change, which we've already talked about, and recipe, which is like building stuff to get you, low level drops so you can buy them. Stuff that your dudes can sort of go out on missions, and just custom stuff to make your world look nice. Because if you see down here, there's a gate counter and you can actually open it up to let people in. So we'll go in and have a look at a couple of these ones. So if you look at, say, this is the fisherman's one, you can go here and just look at the work. So as you level it up, you can send your dudes onto sort of missions. I don't actually think I have anyone free because it's got a level 12 requirement. So you go level 1, I can send this person off, set the number of time, and then off they go. And you're actually required to do that as part of your dailies, but we'll get to that in a bit. And then yeah, you've got your shops where you can buy low level items, whatever. Again, all of this stuff is accessible through menus. Like if I go to the shop menu down here, you can get the exact same way. But it's sort of nice that they at least put effort into making your town look nice. What else have we got? You do have a house like you do in the original game, though. Let's see how we get into it from here. There we go. So if you take a look here, we can look at the My House menu, and yeah, inside the My House menu, it works kind of similar to the 3DS one. You can accumulate gear. You can see I've got like a Jabanya table from the Yokai Watch event. So you can sort of stuff around with different gear. I think I've only got, I picked that up from the last event, but you can place stuff in here. Look, my house is pretty empty. I don't really feel the urge to do it, but you can upgrade it through the menu, like you can with all other buildings. So that's cool. None of this stuff requires stamina, which is sort of nice. And yeah, it's got some nice animations, and the soundtrack from the original's all in place. But yeah, let's just quickly get into a couple of the other stuff. So your dailies and weeklies, the rewards will sort of pop in there. Speaking of dailies, there's a heap of quests you can be doing. So you get one for the field, you get one for sending people off on work, and then doing the multiplayer events, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can sort of do anytime. And yeah, that's sort of a baseline look at the overworld of the game. There's like story menu here and like job stuff and a whole bunch of other things we can look at, but we might break them down one by one in other videos in this playlist, starting with the most important thing, the gacha rolls. So maybe we'll look at that next video, and then we'll start going through the different ways you can play solo and multiplayer. So yeah, I guess stay tuned for those next videos. And of course, if you want to see any other JP exclusive games on the iOS store or on console, really, just like anything that didn't make it west, please drop me a comment and we'll see what we can do in future videos. But otherwise, yeah, this has been a very early look at sort of the UI and a couple other things in Fantasy Life Online. Stay tuned for some future videos where we'll actually get into the gameplay and the 10 rolls for it. So yeah, we'll be back with more videos on that. Thanks for watching.